I'm a believer, da ba da da. I'm high on believing, da ba da ba, da 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 da. Now, I am a believer, a devout, faithful servant of the Lord above. And I want to tell you what my testimony is and how I found God. Let's get into it because it's a whole long story. When I was younger, especially going through grade 10 and grade 11, I'd grown up in a very religious family. That's the absolute truth, right? Religious. We would have to pray over the weekend. We would have prayers from time to time, singing hymns, songs, dietary restrictions, everything that you could imagine that was religiously oppressive, if you want to use that word, was my life. My parents were ultra religious, okay? They were so set in their faith. And that means that all of the laws and everything that comes with it. And they became so religious that they started imposing certain restrictions in certain behaviors that we were and weren't allowed to do in terms of getting girlfriends, especially for me. And even my cousins grew up in such a religious environment. A little bit more toned down, but still. And these religious parents of mine even believed that money, as simple as this 400 rand that I've earned now from my hard labor to get my forearms, they believed that that money was evil. So anyways, this was a religious oppression, and I was sent to an ultra-religious school, almost being like a boarding school, where the rules and regulations are so hard. And I was forced to go to prayers every single morning to sing hymns. Now the problem was that I didn't want to do all these hymns. Yes, it's fine if I can be part of religion. It's nice. I believe in God. Hopefully He can help me and give me, all that I had hoped for and desired in my life. But it was becoming borderline oppressive every single day without fail. And the problem was that the school used the religion to push political ideologies. So they would say, the Lord above wants us to be brave. So then you must go and do X, Y, and Z. So they use religion and use the Bible, use these religious verses to inspire us to do certain things that they themselves wanted. And slowly but surely I found myself distancing myself away from the religion and distancing myself away from religious practices, hymns, and belief in the Lord. And I slowly started to drift away. And I actually am a bit embarrassed and ashamed of my past self that I have to be honest with you, I turned to heinous actions. We're not even talking just the basic stuff like alcohol, and abusing my own body through taking, not drugs, but smoking tobacco and smoking cigars. And these are things that I deeply regretted, and other things which are even worse. We're not even going to get into promiscuity. But I want to just say that I've lost my religion. I lost that hold, not just psychologically, but I lost my inner sense of peace that I had gained from belief in God and believing that the Lord above would help me through all of my past struggles and through all of my struggles future and present. And so I slowly started to drift away from the Lord and drift away from God. What happened? I slowly started to turn to liberalism, to all of these terrible, heinous things that the Lord commands us not to engage with. And I'm not saying engage with, but outwardly support. And these people are actually against God. Yes, we need to respect them and love them because man shall love another man. But a man shall love his brethren in that sense. So I started to lose God. I started to drift away from the path of that which is righteous and that which is virtuous. And I started mixing with the wrong crowds and doing the wrong things. As I said, I smoked cigars. I started becoming overly gluttonous. Not just one cup of tea. Coffee, tea, drinking and eating endless amounts. And I degraded my body, which the Lord above has gifted me through birth. I started disrespecting my parents and leaving at midnight, trying to run away, wanting to get rid of all of my family connections, cutting ties with my grandparents and my grandfather, who I so love and I have such a deep connection with. I almost lost my entire life. I almost threw it all away. I even lost my entire business because I acted in a low character way. I didn't act in a way that I would be proud of. I didn't act in a way that I could look back in 10 years' time and say, I was proud that I did that. I did the wrong thing in many different ways. And I'm ashamed of my past actions. So that's my testimony. How it's now gone to the point, and at this stage in my life I didn't have any belief in God. But what I started to do was distance myself from prayers, from religious events. I even decided to leave my school, and that was a big problem, always wanting to leave my school. What happened was everything slowly started to fix itself. I moved away from heinous actions because I realized that I need to be someone that other people can look up to and say, I want to be like him. I want to follow the Lord. I want to praise. I want to sing praise. I want to be that kind of person that people look up to. The other day I was in a second-hand shop getting stock or sorting through stock. and there was a righteous man of the church. He was saying how he's going to a conference and how he needs to get a few suits and whatever. That man is someone that I look up to, even though he'll never see me again and I'll never see him. Because he was well dressed. He took care of his body. He spoke with respect even now. He's someone that is a follower of the Lord, and because of it, better. So that's my testimony. Now I want to tell you what I'm doing now. So how did I go from being completely irreligious and almost throwing away my entire religion, and to coming back to religion, and how I found God again? What happened was I started joining my father in prayers. Now sometimes there would be daily prayers and I would join them. Through that I started mingling with other people who were also religious, and I was irreligious at the time, throwing it away, wanting to leave school, wanting to stop all this oppression in my mind. Meanwhile, what the school were trying to do was to instill discipline and the belief and love of God and trust in and faith in the Lord above in school. And I was rejecting that. And you know what? The Lord shall never ever forget you. The Lord shall never ever give up on you, so long as you don't give up on Him. And I almost gave up on Him. But there was still that little spark inside my brain, somewhere deep, deep down, that was just waiting to be reignited by someone else's flame. I want you to think of a candle. Let's say this is a candle and here's another candle. All it takes is one flame to pass to another candle, to pass to another candle, to another. And so, although my candle had been partially extinguished, there was still that red hot spark. And by going with my father to prayers, I managed to meet other religious people. I managed to meet with the pastor. I managed to meet with other, as I said, righteous individuals who were walking in the way of the Lord, who were doing actions that they were proud of. You could say, what 5 things did you do yesterday? And every single one of those things, everything that they did, nothing was heinous. Nothing was something that they could be ashamed of. Everything was something that either built their character or built their relationship with them and their family, them and their loved ones, them and their friends, and them and God above, because that is the most important thing. So I found God. I can confidently say that I went from atheist to a believer in the Lord. And I like to think of my life as a test, right? We all are given a test. Today, what's your test? Maybe your test is that you need to do your homework and you need to click off this video, unfortunately, and you need to go and complete that. Or maybe your test is that God has given you your own lot. He's given you your body, and He wants you to understand that the test is to get strong. And it's going to be hard. Maybe your test is that you don't have enough money to get a car, and that car would enable you to get a job. It doesn't matter what you do, what your situation is. The Lord above has bestowed upon each of us a test and given each of us a separate situation. And if you walk with faith and belief as I do, the Lord walks with you. You can see how the subscriber count has boomed like that, 50 plus a day. And I don't say that that's my own action. I thank the Lord for giving me such a test on my pieces of paper, 7 videos a day, and everything I'm supposed to do. And I will never give up so long as I believe in the Lord, because it's the Lord above, and that is how I found God. So how will you find God?